Hello students, and welcome back to Hexxit Education. Now this is a lesson that I've kind of been, well, I wouldn't say dreading, but I've definitely been a bit wary about since I realized this would have had to been part of our curriculum. And this particular lesson is about, well, trees. Yeah, I know, they're kind of scary. Well, actually, not really as scary, but where you find them can be kind of scary. And even though that wasn't really the reason why I've been wary about this particular lesson, it's been that there are so many trees, and in Hexxit there are an even greater number. There are ones from Natura, there are ones from BiomesXL, there are ones from the Twilight Forest, and there are ones that are just all over the freaking place. So without further ado, I'm gonna give you a tour of all of the different trees that are available in Hexxit. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, cool, he's going to go and give us a tour of his little arboretum here. Yes, I am. I'm going to show you this little area here, but this is just the beginning of this lesson, because I realized when I was doing our when we had the whole thing with the chisel, when I had to go back and make a new video because I realized I sort of skimped out on the actual education part of Hexxit Education. I realized that if I was going to do a lesson on the various trees that are in Hexxit, I would also have to be doing a lesson on all the woods that are in Hexxit. So we will in fact be talking about every single kind of wood that's available through all these trees, with the vast majority of all the wood products you can make from them. So again, now you understand why I was a little bit wary about this. This took me at least 4 or 5 hours to prep all this stuff that we're about to go through. So enjoy. First and foremost on our list, we have in our overworld arboretum the amaranth. This is from Natura, and it looks here. And this is pretty average for its size. It'll grow a little tall with some leaves up on the top. Okay, we're going down the line over here. We have, this is the brown autumn tree. Now there are 4 different kinds of autumn trees that are added through BiomesXL. When you break them, they just give you spruce wood. However, I think if you take the you have to get the saplings of them, they will grow back in the same color. So if you like the color and you happen to find an autumn biome, then I would definitely recommend finding these to get some a little bit of color when you're base. Here we have the orange autumn, and we have the purple autumn here, and the yellow autumn is over here. And okay, moving on along, we have the maple. This is the maple tree. This one is from Natura, and it looks kind of nice. It's like little oranges. It's similar to the autumn one over there, but not quite the same. You can see the wood grain is a little different. We'll get to the wood grains definitely in a little bit. Okay, next over here we have, if I can get up here, this is the silver bell. This one is also added from Natura, and it looks quite nice. It almost reminds me of the silverwood trees that are added through Thaumcraft, which is not part of Hexxit. Okay, moving on, we have over here, you can get into this thing, this is the willow tree. And it will always grow in this same basic shape. It will sort of go up, and then we'll have several of these leaf dragging leaves over here. I actually had to cut this down in order to be able to move through it, so oftentimes they will be nearly totally encapsulated. Okay, moving on, we have the tigerwood tree. Now this one's kind of interesting. On the outside, it looks kind of nice, and in there, the bark's kind of cool, but inside, the wood inside is very interesting to look at, so we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Okay, next up we have the acacia. Now this is not to be confused with the acacia from Minecraft 1.7. As you know, we're in Minecraft 1.5. So this is the acacia from BiomesXL. It looks somewhat similar to the eucalyptus on the outside, and it's used to make a couple of simple blocks, but nothing fancy about it. It does look nice though. You will find this in savanna biomes. And actually, if I remember correctly, on my very first Hexxit map, I was next to a savanna biome. I found quite a few of these acacia right out there. They look kind of cool from the outside because they have sort of a flat top. Almost looks like mushrooms from a distance. Okay, next up, we have the redwood. Now, this is very important. This is the redwood from BiomesXL. You can tell because it grows in a 2x2, meaning when you get redwood saplings from this version of the redwood, you have to plant them in a 2x2 in order to get it to grow. And it does grow. So if you look over here, Kind of hard to get a sense of scale. And I have my render distance at normal, so it grows pretty tall. And it's not uncommon to find whole forests of these things. Okay, so next up, we have right over here the hopseed. This is kind of an interesting little plant. You might find this in savannas or other similar kinds of biomes. It's very low to the ground, only really generates 4 planks each, so it's very hard to cultivate to get the wood from it, but it is kind of a cool little treat. Okay, so next up over here, we have the eucalyptus, and you'll be very familiar with eucalyptus because it's what we use to make our home economics building over there. That pink wood on the inside. And also, if you notice the edges, that is eucalyptus. So this is the way it looks in its normal form. This tree is very hard to farm because of the way it spreads. It tends to spread out a lot at the top. So the best way I find of cutting it down is just to pillar up to the top with dirt and just hit it from the way down. Of course, because we're in Hexxit, you can just use Decapitator and get it in a couple of hits. You probably won't get it in one because of how far it spreads, but you should be able to take it down without too much difficulty. These things grow in fairly sparsely in the valleys and that sort of biomes. Okay, next up we have the sakura, also known as the cherry blossom. This one is also from Natura, and it looks really interesting. I love the way that this bark looks and the leaves. It also resembles cotton candy, and it's used to make a number of interesting different wood products. Okay, and we have a couple more over here. We have, oh, almost missed it. This is the slime tree. Now, this is not a tree exactly. I don't think I'm not planning on making a full episode on the slime islands. However, every once in a while, when you find a slime island, you may find one of these trees there. If you find this, knock down the leaves because you'll have a chance to get these slime saplings. And when you get those, just plant them anywhere, and they will hopefully grow into one of these. Unfortunately, they're not affected by bone meal. But if you can find a couple of these saplings and get a farm going, you can break these green blocks here, get a congealed green slime block. You can turn that into 4 slime balls. So this is an excellent way to get slimes if you don't have access to a swamp biome, or even if you do. This is a great way to farm it. And I use these particularly because I love to use the concussive shells on my hunter's handgun. Okay, so over here we have the fir from BiomesXL. This is a fairly small base tree, but if you look over here, it goes up a little distance. I'd say it's about half as tall as the BiomesXL redwood. Again, it's not uncommon to find whole forests of these. Okay, so last on our overworld arboretum, we have this thing. And once you see this, you will not be able to mistake it. This is what I call the true redwood. This is the redwood from Natura. Difference being that this one grows in a 7x7, meaning you need 7x7 worth of saplings. That's 49 saplings in order for this thing to grow. It takes several days to grow, and you cannot use bone meal on it at all. But this thing is enormous. And interestingly enough, this tree can actually be used as a dwelling because it has 3 different kinds of bark. It has the roots, which you find down there, has the bark, which is sort of the first couple layers on the outside, and you have the heartwood, which is the one that's actually used to make various products. I will say though, this thing is a royal pain to remove. If you ever want to, for example, build around this thing and you want to remove a redwood tree, it will take you a long time because this thing goes up really far. In fact, let me show you how far it goes up. Because I don't think you have to. It's not quite to a build limit, but it goes up pretty high. Yeah, you can kind of see why this would be used as a dwelling. Even with Decapitator, you will not be able to knock out this entire thing. You can knock out the bulk of the trunk with Decapitator, but in order to take out this top bar here, you basically have to climb up here and just take it down from the bottom, from the top to the bottom. Oh, I'd almost forgotten about these things. They were kind of dwarfed by the redwood tree. Sorry about that. These are palm trees. These are added by BiomesXL, and the useful thing about these trees is that they have a chance to drop coconuts. Most notably, if you find a tree like this without any visible coconuts, the coconuts look very similar to the little chocolate pot, cocoa bean pods, like this. If you happen to find without that, just break the leaves, and you have a chance for it to drop a coconut. Now, if you happen to find one with these pods, you just break it like this. And all you do is put this into a crafting table along with a sword, and it will break, and you'll probably get seeds and whole coconuts, which you can cook or eat. Okay, so this concludes the first part of our walk through the various trees and woods available through Hexxit. Now comes part two, and this is the part that took me a little bit longer to prepare. These trees have been up here since I built this overall campus. You've seen them for a long time. However, you probably noticed also I had over to our left what I would call my trade house. However, recently I realized that it was totally it would totally not work for what I planned in order to show you. So I tore it down and I built this thing. This is a representation of all of the unique woods that are available through each of the overland trees that we just looked at. So as far as I can tell, this is a complete list. I was primarily looking for wood blocks, planks, slabs, stairs, doors especially, fences, fence gates, sticks, pressure plates, and trap doors. Now there are other things you can make with wood, but this is primarily the ones that you can make that are sort of special. I will note that where I do not include certain items, like for example in this first one here does not have a door, that's because the door it creates is a normal vanilla door. It's not that it can't make it, it's that it can't make one that is special. So on to our first one, which is the amaranth, and we've got let me show you how this works. Basically, there's the log right there, the wood block, stair, plank. Here's a button. There's a half slab. There's a pressure plate going to attach to the fence gate, fencing, and it's what the stick looks like over here in an item frame. But over here is actually the trap door. Unfortunately, it's missing textures. There are several that are from Natura that are in the same category as this. So next we have maple. So here's what we have here. Got the button. It's concealed pretty well. Got the pressure plate. The fence gates blend in nicely. Okay, next up we have the redwood from BiomesXL. Now this one, the particular quirk of this redwood is that when you chop it down, it comes in logs, look kind of like this, meaning that if you place them in the correct orientation, basically sort of look this way, you can make a complete log out of them again, but they will, if you're not careful, look kind of like this, like all over the place, look like they were just cobbled together. Or if you want that effect, you can certainly do that just by accident. I will note though that this is really all you can make out of them. You can make the planks, stairs, and a half slab. Some are just like that. However, next, the redwood from Natura. This one is very, very different. Now I said before about 3 different kinds of wood. So this here is the root from the redwood tree. I should note that this is not craftable. You can't turn it into planks or anything. You can, however, burn it for charcoal, so it is useful in that regard. Well, the next thing up at the top here, this is the bark. This is the color that it looks like, and you can only actually craft one thing out of it, which is this. This is actually a door. You can actually make a concealable door out of the bark from the redwood. From Natura. You can also burn the bark and make it into charcoal, so it is useful in that regard. But the main thing you want is the middle part. This is the heartwood. This is what you use to turn into into redwood planks. There's a button right here. Here's a door. It looks kind of cool. Looks like it belongs in like California home. Stairs. You got this is kind of cool. Trap door. Half slab. Pressure plates going to fencing, and that's what a stick looks like. I will note that in general, all of these sticks are useful to build tools. There are some exceptions to that, but I didn't really have time to investigate every different tool option. Suffice to say that in general, each of these sticks can be used to make torches, for example, or bows. Okay, so next up we have the Sakura. And you can see there's the block there. The wood looks kind of grayish with hints of purple. The door, it's similar to a vanilla door, but a little more texture, especially on the bottom here. There you got the button, half slab, and we have the trap door and fence gate like that. And there's the stick. Next up, we have eucalyptus. This is one of the more vibrant colors here. So we have the logs, the planks, stairs, button, and up here we have the door. This is the most iconic of all the doors from Natura because it has a little heart on it. And I actually have this as a door for our home economics building. So it also has, I think this is supposed to be either moons or little hearts for the trap door, but it's kind of hard to tell with that resolution. Okay, next up we have the silver bell. This is also from Natura. This one's kind of unusual because you see it generates two distinct sort of textures. Got the log here, the plank, and the stairs, but the button looks like purple. It's very similar to the amaranth over there. Half slab. The trapdoor is missing a texture, but the pressure plate and the fence gate are sort of match the button. In a way, it makes sense. Those are sort of the active ones. Okay, next up we have the acacia from BiomesXL, and you can't really do a lot with this. So you have here's the log, plank, stairs, and a half slab. That's really it for this particular tree. So next up we have the tigerwood. This is a very interesting tree here. So there's the log. It's got this cool spiral design on the inside. I really like that thing. I use this accents whenever I can. There's the plank and the stairs. The button sort of blends in. Half slab. The texture, the pack for the trapdoor is missing. And there's the fence gate. Very cool. This reminds me more, I think, of sort of like a ranch. I can imagine this making a pretty cool sort of a ranch style base. Okay, next up is willow, and this is the green wood more than anything else. So I got planks, stairs. The wood has a very green core, but outside it stays brown. Half slab. The texture is missing again for the trap door. But we still have the fence gate is the same color, and there's the stick. So next up is Hopsy. This is also from Natura. This one's kind of interesting. It's pink in the same way that the eucalyptus is, but it's almost like a peach pink in a way. The front door is kind of cool. I like this design. This sort of the slats. I can almost imagine this for like a barn door or an outhouse. I got the half slabs here. The texture pack for this one is in place for the trap door. So that is functioning that way. And there's the stick and the fence gate. Okay, next up we have the palm. Now this one unfortunately is a little bit buggy, and so we have the palm logs and we have the palm planks. These are perfectly fine. However, the half slab and the stairs are bugged. You cannot manufacture them, unfortunately. It's not in the recipe database. They are, however, in NEI. So what I've done in a previous base work, because I really like these. I like these making a sort of a beachfront walkways, that kind of thing. I will just throw away a couple of logs or planks and just spawn in the slabs or the stairs. Because I mean, it's in the recipe database. You should be able to make it. You just don't have access to it because of a programming error. Okay, and last but not least, we have the fir, and you can only do a couple things with this. There's the log here, the plank, stairs, and the half slab. Okay, so that's it. That's all the trees. Really? Seriously, that's all the trees? Okay, so it's not nearly all the trees. Okay, that's all the trees that I decided to put onto our overworld campus. However, there are quite a few more that are not in our overworld campus. And so right now we're going to head into the nether. And I'm actually going to switch into creative mode for this, just for safety's sake, because I have had problems with gas trying to shoot at me while I was making this particular lesson. So just to save a little bit of a headache for me. Okay, welcome back to our nether campus. And you see it's a little different from the last time we were here when I showed you the sulfur clouds in our episode on the hunter's handgun. So first and foremost, let's show you our little nether arboretum. Now there are 4 nether trees. I can hear gas, so I'm really glad I'm in creative mode. There are 4 nether trees. First here we have ghostwood. Now ghostwood is primarily useful because of its leaves. If you take I think it's 2 leaves and 3 ghostwood sticks, you can make fletching. You take 3 fletching with any kind of nether stick or any kind of stick, and flint, you make 4 arrows. So if you're stuck in the nether and you have access to a ghostwood tree, you can actually make arrows and kill those freaking ghast. Okay, next up you have the darkwood. I want to specify this is a darkwood from Natura. There's actually another kind of darkwood that is from the Twilight Forest, and they are 2 very different things. Primarily because in the darkwood from Natura, you have these little leaf things here. So what we use when you find one of these, you should try and break the leaves and get out these potash apples, and I'll show you those. Basically, what these do is it will heal you for 4 hearts, but then poison you for 2 hearts. So they have a net healing of 2 hearts. So they're pretty useful in their own way. So that's the darkwood tree. Next up is fusewood. This stuff is it's volatile, and I might as well I'm going to show you why it's called fusewood. I know, but remember, I'm in creative mode, so watch what happens. Yep, even in creative mode, if you break the fuse wood in any way, harvest it or just break it, it will explode. And it doesn't do a lot of grieving damage to blocks, but it can knock off signs. So I learned that the hard way. So moving on, last but not least, we have... Wow, I'm glad I'm in creative mode right now because that's a lot of nitro creepers. Last but not least, we have the bloodwood tree, and yes, that tree is upside down. What you do is in this case, I took some tainted soil. You need to plant it in this. Oh, sorry, I should have prefaced this. All of these trees have to be planted in tainted soil, not netherrack. So it's relatively common on here. Just find it similar to soul sand. That's an alternate terrain block that generates. Just find a bunch and plant your heart out. It works similarly for the bloodwood. However, what you do with this is you put the tainted soil up here, put one bloodwood sapling here, and then either hit with some bone meal or just give it some time. It needs at least 8 blocks between the soil and the ground in order to propagate. Usually much more than that. This is actually the strongest of all of the wood. So if you happen to be stuck in the nether and you need to make some weaponry or a bow, I would definitely go for the bloodwood. I should preface this by saying all of these trees here are in fact fire resistant, which is why I've got all these fires around here, and it's not damaging the trees at all. Okay, so in terms of the woods you can get from them, first up we have the bloodwood here, and we've got here's the wood over here, the log, plank, stairs, and this really cool looking door. I love this door. This door we have at the it's front door to our science building. Got the little button here. We have the pressure plate with the trap door and the fence, and the sticks look like that. Okay, next up we have the dark wood. This is one that's very blue on the outside and the inside. So if you're a fan of blue, you might want to try and find some dark wood. The trapdoor here, it's kind of hard to tell, but the pattern I think is supposed to look like stars or something. But kind of cool. Oh, one thing I should note while I'm here. None of the, like I said, these trees do not burn in fire. So if you happen to have brought a furnace with you and thought, oh, I'll make some charcoal, you cannot actually put the nether woods into a furnace and make charcoal. They simply will not burn. I don't think it's necessarily true for the sticks, but I'm not certain about that. If you know about the sticks, post it in the comments. Okay, next up is the ghost wood. So it looks pretty cool. It's like a steel gray. I use this as an accent piece because I love the way that the black and the white silver complement each other. The door is kind of interesting. It's just sort of like the vanilla one with a little more definition to it. But like I said, the main reason that you want the ghost wood is for this. This is a leaf block, and you take I got a couple of leaves, a couple of sticks like this, make it into fletching, and that's how you get arrows. But I've also got pressure plate, trapdoor, and the fence gate. All kind of almost like a zebra pattern, come to think of it. But I think of it more like steel and black at the same time. Okay, and last here we have fuse wood. So this is sort of a green. It's almost like a fur green. That makes any sense? Like a furry kind of green. Here's a log, the plank, stairs, half slab. Unfortunately, the texture is missing for the trap door, but hello, Mr. Pigman. But the fence gates here, and here's the stick. Okay, so now we're done. Yay! Finally, we went through all the trees. No, we didn't go through all the trees. Okay, I don't know why I'm nervous. I mean, it's not like I'm actually afraid of what's coming next. I mean, we've been there before. It wasn't that bad. Think of it. No, it's not like I'm afraid to go to the Twilight Forest exactly. It's not like I don't know, went back in there and took some TNT and some torches and burned the place down and built a bunker where the remains were. That wouldn't be that, would it? Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what I did do. As soon as our map loads, you will see we spawned in one of the worst places you can spawn in the Twilight Forest. That is a dark tower. That's where the Urghast lives, and this whole thing is a dark forest. So this is one of the most dangerous places you could imagine spawning or in Twilight Forest, with the possible exception of a Hydra den. But even that, you only have to kill it once. This thing spawns all kinds of nasty stuff continuously. So I built a little bunker with some glass all over the place, and I wrote a little warning to anyone. Warning, death and destruction await you at every turn. And this is not just a joke. So I lit this area up as much as I could, but there are still definitely some things that are coming around here. I still have issue with wolves. I've had druids come out here. I've had skeletons. I've had zombies. All that fun stuff. But I did have time to plant this little Twilight Forest Arboretum. So it's actually doubly dangerous when it's raining out here. I'm going to turn it off. And now I'm going to show you basically two sets of Twilight Forest trees. The first set is sort of the normal ones, and the second one is going to be the unusual ones. The difference being that the normal ones are the ones you're probably going to be able to find relatively easily. The special ones, however, you may actually never find, but hopefully you will, because some of them are pretty cool. So first off, we have the sickly Twilight Oak. And let me preface it by saying I'm very sorry for the noise, not just the rain, but also the bugs. First we have the sickly Twilight Oak, and you can tell us because it's the same color as the Twilight Oak here. And I should note that when you craft this down, it turns into oak. You can, however, you can turn this into charcoal if you burn it, so it's somewhat useful in that regard. It's called sickly because it's tiny, little tiny tree, as opposed to the robust Twilight Oak, this is just one sapling grew to that. And I should note that when it grows from a sapling, it comes complete with cicadas and fireflies. Yeah, I like the sound of them, just not always. Okay, next up we have the canopy tree. This is a relatively common tree, and it would just grow up really, really tall and sprout a little bit here. I've seen ones that are smaller. This one is sort of a moderate to large size canopy tree. That. They're pretty cool. I should note that the canopy tree crafts down into spruce, or you can turn it into charcoal. It doesn't have any intrinsic shapes in of itself. Okay, so next up is the Twilight Mangrove, and yes, this is just one sapling. You'll find these relatively commonly in swamp-like biomes. Not much in the way of leaves on the top, but it looks kind of nice. It looks sufficiently creepy for certain areas. And I should note that the Twilight Mangrove crafts down into birch planks, or you can burn it as charcoal. And the next one, I'm not even sure why I even made this thing, honestly, because it's all over the freaking place. The rain stopped. This is a dark wood from Twilight Forest. You can tell because it looks exactly like all the other trees that are around this perimeter, which tells you that you are in a dark forest. Yeah, so if you can see on this map here, this little area here is where I managed to sort of clear out. All of this is dark forest, and that over there is a battle tower. So this is a very dangerous place to be. But I should also note that the dark wood from Twilight Forest crafts down into spruce planks, or you can burn it as charcoal. Okay, so these are all of the normal trees. Oh, one thing I should probably note. You see this water over here? Yeah, when you're in a dark forest, the trees are so dense in places that they can actually collect pockets of water source blocks. So yes, that is a waterfall coming out of a tree. And you can look on our mini-map, there are quite a few more of them. Those are tree falls. Alright, so next are sort of the special trees that we get in the Twilight Forest. And these are the ones where basically you'll never find them. Well, possibly except of the rainbow oak, you'll never find these trees, but you will hopefully find their saplings in chests, mostly dungeon chests, but also tree dungeon chests. So first up, we have the Tree of Time, and this thing looks freaking cool. All these trees look amazing. I love the way they come out here. The leaves look like they're moving, so like multiple layers of different colors. Now, how you get the Tree of Time is you find one of these, a Tree of Time sapling. This is just one sapling I hit with some bone meal. And what the Tree of Time does is it speeds up the growth of crops that are placed around. I'm not sure how far, but fairly far away. It's hard to tell exactly how fast these crops grow, but it is somewhat faster than normal. I will say. One thing I should mention about the Tree of Time over here, you cannot craft anything out of these blocks, which are called time wood. That you can't craft them into anything, and you can't even turn them into charcoal, so they're just purely decorative blocks. Okay, next up we have the Tree of Transformation, and this one looks amazing. I love the way this thing looks. It actually came with a cicada there. Now how you get this is you find a Tree of Transformation sapling in a chest, and specifically you'll probably find these in tree dungeon chests, and hopefully we'll find one of those when we get into our Twilight Forest sort of creative. Our Twilight Forest Let's Play portion of this series, but you might never actually find one of them. But anyway, what these things do is they don't actually affect other blocks per se. What they do is very slowly change the biome that you planted in. So if you look on the ground here, and you compare it to, say, over here, this is a dark forest. This is an enchanted forest, and it goes pretty slowly. I'd say it takes at least like several days. You see that there's still some pockets of dark forest here, but very slowly it will change it into a different type of biome, which I think is just cool in general. And just imagine putting this in the middle of like a wasteland or something, just brighten the place up immediately. One thing I will note about enchanted forest is that it does occur naturally in Hexxit. It's relatively rare. It's the same place where you would find a questing ram, and you would also find this. This is a rainbow oak. This is one of the few ones of these you will probably find in the world, even though it is relatively rare. I think the enchanted forest biome is just equally rare to a mushroom biome. So they're hard to find, but not impossible. The cool thing about rainbow oak, I should note that the rainbow oak's wood is just normal Twilight oak, the same as the oak over there. However, the leaves can be sheared, and you can place them, and they will be all different colors depending on how you place it. It's somewhat randomized, but it gives a nice little splash of color to any kind of base or palette. Okay, next. Gee, I wonder what this is. Oh, you do? Okay, this is the miner's tree. This is a very cool tree. We haven't covered this yet, but when we finally get to our episode on the Twilight Forest tools, we'll talk about ore magnets. what the miner's tree is basically an inexhaustible ore magnet. What you do is you find the, oh, where'd the sapling go? Oh, find it later. You find the sapling in chests, most notably the ones in tree dungeons, and you plant it. And over time, it takes several days, and I think it will increase over time. It draws to the surface all of the ores within fair radius. I mean, I think we went all the way up to here, so pretty far away. I think it will keep working. So we got diamond, we got copper, we got iron, gold, redstone, all kinds of stuff. This thing is very cool, and it looks cool. It looks like a pickaxe. Okay, and wait, did this thing? It did. This thing's okay. That's the miner's tree sapling here, because this thing is a sorting tree, and what this does is it automatically the rain stopped. Is it automatically sorts the items in nearby chests, and you can tell it's near enough that it took a sapling out of this chest and move it all the way over to this one. The one thing I will know, as far as I can tell, see this chest here is 1 block away from the trunk of the sorting tree. This one is 2 away. So if I were to take some of this cobble and drop it into here, see, it took it out of this chest and put it into this one, because I think it's closer. It sort of prioritizes whichever chests are closer to it. Another thing it will do is it will organize. So if you have it all over the place, it will move it into a stack. But as far as I can tell, it does not organize sort of in lines. It just organizes stack-wise. So it makes it a little neater, but it doesn't have anything on, just using the built-in GUI controls on that. So that is the sorting tree. So I think we kind of lucked out on this. We didn't manage to be attacked by the Urghast or any of the nasty creatures that live in the woods here. Very nice excursion into Twilight Forest. Sorry about the rain though, but I was literally uncontrollable. I tried several times to order it to stop, and it wouldn't obey me. It could be that it's in a dark forest. It doesn't actually obey those commands. But in any case. Oh, there is one more thing I'd like to mention. In a future episode, the one where we talk about Twilight Forest tools, we will be talking about, among other things, this is the tree of transformation. So this is the heart of transformation. Each one of these rare trees, you can see this over here, they have this rare block in the middle, which functions kind of like a machine block. And the cool thing is you can actually remove the block and move it in other places to get similar kinds of effects. Most notably, the miner's block. If you take this mining core out, you can keep reusing it. Like I said, an inexhaustible ore magnet. So this comes to the end of our lesson on the various trees and woods that are available through Hexxit. This has been, for me, a very exhausting lesson, but I think I did a pretty good job of doing justice to all the various types of trees and wood products that are available through Hexxit, so you can investigate the world and beautify your bases. So this has been Kanakadia for Hexxit Education. Class dismissed.